Hi, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Continuing with our sort of mindful Monday videos and keeping on expanding our knowledge and breadth of both how to sort of come back to presence and also how that really helps restore the brain when we are able to do so. Today, I want to talk a little bit about perspective taking. I think as artists and creatives, we already have a kind of jump on that because um, art as a creative entity, as a expressive medium, lends itself already to taking on different perspectives, to seeing things from different perspectives, to this idea of curiosity. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the movie Smallfoot. I actually haven't, but my kids love it, and they were listening to the soundtrack, or they asked Alexa to play the soundtrack. One of the songs is by Common, and he says, "The only thing that's stronger than fear is curiosity." And I love that line because curiosity is what really allows us to take on different perspectives and to ask questions like, what if? Or I wonder, or what would happen if I looked at it this way? So I want to take it from kind of a bit of a cosmological perspective to a creative perspective, and then to an exercise or interpersonal perspective. So let's start with the cosmological. Some of you, I'm doing this master's in philosophy and cosmology, and some of you might be familiar with this kind of evolving cosmology, how we see deep time, how we see the human being as a member of the Earth community, as an outgrowth of evolution, and what is our role here on Earth as symbolically conscious beings. So, but that perspective has changed over time. We've had lots and lots of ongoing philosophical and religious debates about what came first, God or the universe. Is there even a God? Is God infused in the universe, or is the universe just a mind-like thing that evolves over time, and that right now what we're growing is this self-conscious awareness. So it used to be thought that, when I was a kid, we learned about one solar system with 9 planets. One of those planets has now been demoted, and there's other planets that might be coming into orbit. We thought that the Milky Way was all there was. And then we have learned that actually within our own galaxy, there's trillions of other galaxies, and outside of our galaxy, there's probably an infinite number of galaxies. So we have a lot going on in the greater cosmos. And with Einstein's theory of relativity, he proved that that's still expanding. So to me, what that also means is that our consciousness, our imaginations, our ability to perceive ourselves and others is also expanding, because we're part of that expansion. We're not separate from or some strange alien being planted here. We're actually part of that expanding consciousness. Before Copernicus, who was a scientist in the kind of Middle Ages, or before the Middle Ages actually, we thought that the Earth was the center of everything. And then Copernicus gave us this heliocentric view, which said, nope, I don't think the Earth is the center of everything. The Earth actually revolves around the sun. So the sun is the center of everything. And then we learned that the sun isn't actually the only center. Think about it. We've got trillions of galaxies or universes in this galaxy. We've got infinite number of galaxies in the wider universe. So the truth is that there are a multiplicity of centers, and there are presumably this infinity of perspectives we can take. So what does that mean? It means that every point in the universe is its own center. I'm sitting right here. From where I'm sitting, I'm the center of the universe. You're sitting wherever you are watching this, and from where you're sitting, you're the center of the universe. You got me? So as we change positions, the center from as how we perceive it changes with us. If we change positions with each other, if I go where you are and you go where I am, then our perspective shifts. And what we see is then not through our own eyes, but through the eyes of the other. Over time, this perspective shift has allowed us, again, to see this kind of broader, expanding universe and ourselves as part of it. One of the things I think that voice, art, and creativity do is give us the means to share our perspective with each other. This symbolic language that we've created that is visual, rhyming, poetic, mathematical, these help us to shape our perspective. And I can look at an idea or a piece of art that was made hundreds of years ago, and I can use that to inform my shifting perspective. So this symbolic language allows us to be in continual evolution with ourselves and with each other. I'm not suggesting that humans are the only ones who have consciousness, but from our perspective, we are the ones who have created this symbolic language around our consciousness. I'm not sure that other creatures have it. I just know we have. So how does this apply in our classrooms? What do we do with different perspectives and kind of the willingness to take on different perspectives within our classrooms? I think it's something we can check within ourselves, and it's also something you can sort of facilitate with your students. If you find yourself at odds with a student, or if two students find themselves at odds with each other, either ideologically or creatively, we can really pause that situation and ask ourselves if we're willing to take on each other's perspective. If we can try to see things, as it were, through the other's eyes, or walk in someone else's shoes. So I talked a couple weeks ago about the pause, finding the space for the pause. That pause is really what gives us the moment to breathe, the moment to sort of check in, ask ourselves, why do I feel this tightening? Why am I locking into my perspective? And then to be able to be willing to shift and take the place of another so that we can see from their eyes. I want to look at some of these graphics. I'm going to place them over the video, and you can use them in your classroom or you can use them on your own. But these graphics all have multiple layers of perspective in them. What you see when you look at it might not be what I see when I initially look at it. So where that's helpful is in just really concretely understanding that my brain, the way my brain is conditioned, or the way that my sight is conditioned, is going to allow me to see something different than someone else. And there is no right answer. I'm not trying to be too relativistic here, but if we put this in a creative context, there's no right way to be creative. There's no right way to use voice, right? So we're trying to hold a space, create a space in our classrooms where all perspectives are welcome. You can do, again, these graphics with your students to get them shifting into other perspectives and to get them seeing in new ways. Okay, I hope those were kind of fun for you. And you can go online and look up optical illusions of all kinds and use them as writing prompts, use them as drawing prompts, collage prompts that really get kids seeing in different ways. You can turn them upside down. So you can do that with anything, right? Like I love, I'm going to use something I learned from Brooke initially was the blackout poetry, right? I can take a piece of paper that already has words on it, any piece of paper, and I can repurpose those words to create an entirely different narrative by blacking out words around the words that jump out at me. So these exercises can just be kind of helpful warm-ups to get us into thinking about new and creative ways to expand our minds, expand our sight, and to be able to see something from someone else's point of view. I want to explain a quick activity you could do with your classroom, and it is that if let's say if you need an icebreaker, or if you need to kind of shake it up and get your kids out of their desks, one thing you can do is you can get the kids all in a circle and have each kid pair up with somebody across the circle with them, just kind of an understanding. And what you do is you describe to your partner or to the circle, here's what I'm seeing from where I'm standing. And you're trying to convince that person across from you, like, this is what I'm seeing. This is what's real. This is what's true. And then the invitation is to shift positions in the circle with your partner and then to see what they saw, so that we are physically moving positions, physically shifting our perspective. It can't help but open our minds and open our eyes to other ways of seeing. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you'll have a little bit of fun with the idea of perspective taking and why it can be important to really, as we develop in the brain, especially with teenagers, we are really creating pathways in the brain. So think of it like a well-worn path on a mountain, right? The path that is the most used is the one that gets the one that we reflexively go to. So the path in our brain that we condition like a muscle, if we work it out, then that's the one that we're going to be able to go to more easily. So in my opinion, the more we can pave the pathways or groom the pathways that get us into a larger way of seeing, the broader our minds, the broader our thinking, and really the more consciousness we are expanding, both on a creative and a personal level. So again, have fun with this. Have a great week. I hope you guys are enjoying your classrooms. I know it's the push of the end of the year, but hang in there, take a pause, shift your perspective, and have fun. Thanks.